Dr. Zachary Manditch-Prottas, and I am a lecturer in American Cultural Studies, African and African American Studies, and the Prison Education Program here at Washington University in St. Louis. It was no easy task for me to select a favorite or critical book for me about the American experience, so I had to give it a lot of thought. The book that I've selected is The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. Personally, it's the first book that I recall picking up in high school and not being able to put down until I completed it. No book has ever compelled me from start to finish to reflect on who I am and my role in America's future, and consider more how I've inherited America's past in ways that I don't know that I ever really realized. The book was published in 1963, originally as two essays, separate essays in 62, and then collected in 1963 as The Fire Next Time. The book catapulted James Baldwin from being this emergent, brilliant literary figure who had published 2 novels and a series of essays to becoming the focal public intellectual of the civil rights era. This book really put Baldwin at the center of the civil rights movement and its authorial voice. And what struck me about the book was that Baldwin urged us to consider how we could use our past and our history to rethink who we have become and who it is that we could be. Baldwin says in the book that to accept one's past, one's history, is not the same as drowning in it. It's learning how to use it. And an invented past can never be used. And that struck me as so important, and still does, that we approach our history in an honest way and think about the way it has constructed who we are as Americans, who we are as racialized figures, as gendered figures, as sexualized figures. And the book is written with a very understandable and earnest frustration, almost a kind of controlled volatility. Baldwin was able to write with that frustration, that anger at where the nation stood right in the heat of the civil rights movement. But he followed that frustration with a kind of echoing plead for us to do better. And not only a plead, but a warning that we make good on the ideas that this country claims to found itself on, that we needed to find redemption, and that redemption couldn't be found until the notions of America became available to all people. In many ways, this is a book that was a warning of the fire to come, but it was also an appeal that we don't have to see that fire come, that we can live in a different time. Now, I teach James Baldwin, I teach a course on James Baldwin. I always teach him in most any class that I teach. And I often begin the class by saying that one of the real tragedies of Baldwin is that he continues to be so timely, that so many things he writes seems as if they could have been written yesterday. And that while that is a prophetic quality that he has, it's a real failure of ours to have not listened hard enough and not responded hard enough. And it can seem, particularly here in 2020, that fire that he predicted, we may be in the midst of it, which suggests to me that there's really no better or necessary time to reconsider and think through the warnings that he offered, but also the possibilities he can foresee than right now, in a moment where our nation has a lot of reflecting to do.